Memeing. It's a meme.
Next prompt.
Oh, I'm sorry. That just sounded like something you would do.
Feminism enslaved women instead of liberating them.
Yeah.
Okay, Andrew. I think you got to start because I genuinely just want to
Yes,
hear.
Andrew, if you'd like to start on this.
Yeah, so the first thing is I'm going to tell you all the things I don't consider to be slavery.
Okay.
So I don't consider not having voting rights slavery.
Okay. Do you want to just define slavery instead of telling me everything that's not slavery?
Yeah, well, hang on, I will. I'll define that too.
Well, you just skip to the good part.
Calm down. So I don't consider not having voting rights to be slavery, and I don't consider having certain social benefits instead of voting rights to be slavery at all. So I don't consider lack of suffrage or an inability for, like, I don't know, other things like higher education, things like this. I don't consider any of that to be slavery, even if it were the case that we didn't quibble over what that means.
I also don't think that those.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that women at the time of feminism were slaves at all. Okay.
I don't either. I mean, black women.
Do you want me to give the at the time of the 19th Amendment?
No, I thought you were talking about like during slavery.
What?
Legitimate, like American slavery, no?
What? No. What are you talking about? Anyway, so I don't consider women at the time of women's suffrage to have been slaves at all.
Okay.
I do, however, slavery is very nebulous. And Brian, if you can pull up a few definitions.
Sure.
I could just give you the Merriam-Webster definition. I literally wrote it down.
Yeah, but the problem is that there's a bit of nebulousness here that I think we need to clarify in the semantics for what slavery is.
Okay.
So go ahead and pull up the definitions, Brian.
Well, it's good. Okay, I mean, it's the state of being a slave.
Yeah, I
don't
know
know if that's particularly
good.
helpful.
Can I give you a definition?
Go ahead.
Okay, so here's what, because I know it's, when you look it up, it's always the practice of being a slave, which is stupid.
Slave definition.
Here's what I would say. I would say forced and or involuntary labor without pay.
No.
You want me to
here's why. Here's why I would disagree.
Why?
Do you want to know why?
Sure, I guess I do.
Because I'm not sure that encompasses another type of slavery.
What's the other type of slavery?
Well, indentured servitude.
Do you want me to read
that? Is without pay, though. So
not really. So
yes, it is.
No, it's not. Just let me make the case.
Do you want me to?
Okay, do you know what indentured slavery even is?
Indentured slavery or indentured servitude?
They're the same thing.
Indentured servitude is when you essentially got a patron who would allow you to come to America or this country, and then you had to work off your time spent, your debt for coming to this country.
So it wasn't without pay.
Well, I think that it was essentially not enough money. Like amount, 7 years of indentured servitude is not equivalent to one.
Well, maybe not. But,
so I would say that's.
But I consider that slavery.
Okay.
And I consider that indentured servants who were coming in, I think that they were being paid. They were just all their pay was going to a debt. So that's the distinction that I would make there.
No, I agree with you. And I think that to that point, sharecropping would also be slavery because it was a similar, all of your money was going towards a debt. So you were not being paid.
So my basic argument here is...
I still think that we're agreeing on our definition, though. Can we just define our terms?
Do you want me to read the few definitions?
Yeah, sure.
Just for slave. Mm-hmm. One, a person who is forced to work for and obey another and is considered to be their property, an enslaved person.
Yes.
Next one, a person who works very hard without proper remuneration. I'm sorry.
Remunerations?
Remuneration or appreciation. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed.
No, Brian, it's okay.
A person who is excessively dependent upon or controlled by something. Mm-hmm. An ant captured in its pupal state.
So hang on, the previous definition.
I do just want to say, Brian.
Read the previous definition.
Yeah, I do just want to say, Brian, 54% of the population reads below a 6th grade reading level, so you're doing pretty good.
Thank you. A person who is excessively dependent upon or controlled by something.
A person who's excessively dependent or controlled. I agree that would be a form of slavery. So,
okay.
Here's where my essential argument is.
Right.
Is that women could not incur debt. And I consider that a massive incurrence of debt, like what you would get with indentured servitude, that you then have to, you have to work doing things that your preference is definitely against doing, is a form of slavery. And so my argument here is that ultimately what has happened through the idea of all women need to go to college, which has been a massive feminist talking point, is that they're under crushing student debt, generally speaking, for degrees they don't even need. And I would say that that is not liberating at all. I would say that women have become debt slaves to the economy, and before feminism, they could not incur debt themselves under coverture laws. So I would say that they have a form of slavery, or at least more akin to a form of slavery, under state debt than was worth it for a right to vote that barely makes a significant difference anyway.
Okay, so to those points, I cannot speak for other feminists, but I will speak for myself. Nobody is forcing women to go to college under feminism. Like, yeah, sure, we are encouraging women, and part of the feminist movement was to fight for the right, or I guess fight isn't right, but to advocate for the right of equal education opportunity. But the difference is that it's not involuntary.
Yeah.
It's voluntary. Like a woman today
So it was
could still
indentured servitude, and you agreed it's slavery?
Yes, but a woman today could still choose not to be a student and go
They
to
could choose
school
then not
and
to be indentured
engage in
servants.
higher education.
They could agree then not to be indentured servants. It's the same principle applied.
No, it's not the same principle, because what
the
were they
same principle.
leaving? Like, if you're leaving a potato famine, you don't really have an option. Either you're dying or you're now in
You still have
indentured
options, and it's your choice. And the same reason that many women will incur a massive amount of college debt is because
No,
they're trying.
you're conflating two things
They're
that are
trying to
not at all
leave
similar.
terrible economic conditions. That's why they do it.
Yeah, of course. It's
So
why
I would
they do
argue
it.
that the burden of
feminism
these
is not
massive student loan
forcing.
programs, which are designed specifically to incentivize women to incur huge amounts of debt, which they do, has actually been more of a form of economic slavery than anything that they had pre-feminism under coverture laws, where they were not allowed to incur debt. They did not have debt, which
By the
they
way,
could incur.
under curvature laws, women were also not allowed to keep their earnings. All of the money that they made from doing literally anything had to go to their husbands.
That
But-
is not true,
It is.
especially with inheritances.
But going back to this belief that incurring debt through a university that you voluntarily choose to go to is somehow slavery, then wouldn't anyone who takes out a loan be a slave regardless of whether or not they're a man or a woman?
I think usury is real bad.
So
And
you
the
believe
idea-
that every single person who is going to college voluntarily and voluntarily taking student debt is now a slave to that university?
They are.
Okay, so either you don't understand slavery or you don't understand the higher education
Then
system.
tell me what the distinction is between that and indentured servitude, which have the exact same qualifiers.
Well, the difference is, first of all, we're in a much different society
That's
in which
not an
higher
argument.
education is not
Give me the argument of
required.
the principle. The principle of indentured servitude, which is voluntarily taking out a huge sum of money and then paying it back through work, right? And you have to pay that money back, or else there's serious fucking penalties for that, just like there is for student loans. In principle, what is the distinction here? They're both voluntary. Both.
The principle is that under an indentured servitude, you're working for 7 years and your owner.
You're working for a lot longer than that,
are
often with
owned,
student
though.
debts.
It's the concept of ownership. You are not owned by a
You weren't.
company.
No.
by
It
a
wasn't
college.
chattel slavery. You weren't owned the same way. No. But you were responsible to pay that debt off via the agreement of the contract, just like you are with one of these huge student loans for useless debt.
Look, I
and
think
hang on,
student
it's
loans
not
fucking
just that
suck,
debt.
but it's not slavery.
It's not
Andrew.
just
you
that
gotta
debt.
be so for real, man. It's not slavery.
Then you shouldn't have agreed that indentured servitude is slavery, because it meets the same qualifiers.
It does not meet the same
What's the
qualifiers.
distinction?
Because the owner of the indentured servant, and I'm going to use owner in this scenario.
They're not owned the
Is-
same way as you owned to chattel slavery.
Yes, but during indentured servitude, they would often push the goalposts and be like, oh, you owe me more and more and more money.
They do it same way with compound interest rates from student loans.
But we understand the interest rate. It's up front.
They understood the interest rate because it was up front. That's
No,
why they
they
signed
didn't.
contracts. Yes, they had to adhere to the contracts the
Dude,
same
no,
way.
they didn't. Half of them weren't even literate.
Yes,
like, that's completely
they
different.
did. And just because people are doing things which are illegal, it was within the confines of of the law, they had to adhere to the contract. These were supposed to be free white men. That's different than chattel slavery. That's why they had certain things afforded to them that were not afforded to chattel slaves. And my argument is...
So then I guess you've defeated your own purpose.
Yeah, you've made...
So you've argued against indentured servitude being slavery, and
no, I'm arguing like you are that it was slavery.
You're conflating
and I'm saying that this is the same thing. It's a form of economic slavery along with the propaganda, which is trying to push women for useless degrees, especially, and giving them loans, which they didn't get penalties on. And they do get penalties.
So what is your solution, Andrew?
To what?
To eliminating the slavery of
It doesn't need to have a solution.
Well,
we just need to agree that this is a form of economic slavery. That's it.
I don't believe it's a form of economic slavery because it's a choice.
Then neither was indentured servitude.
Okay, sure.
So indentured servants weren't slaves?
Fine.
Okay. I'm willing to, as long as you bite that bullet.
Next prompt?
Yeah, next prompt.
I guess that's why they called them indentured servants and not indentured slaves.
All right.
So you don't wait. So
go ahead. We're going to the next one. I'm done.
Wait,
no.
Go back.
Yeah.
Are you?
We'll go to the next one.
No, Andrew. Hold on, Brian.
All right, go ahead.
I got it.
So then, Andrew, if I'm conceding that indentured servitude isn't slavery, then are you conceding that feminism isn't enslaving women?
No, I'm still literally gonna stick by the definition that almost all sources would consider indentured servitude a form of slavery due to the crushing debt and the lack of choice that brought. I'm gonna argue that the same thing is the case through all forms of crushing debt, which are brought by corporate or state bodies against peoples, forms of slavery that women did not have to deal with before feminism, that feminism introduced. Therefore, I think they're less free now than they ever were because of the word debt.
First of all, I don't think you can blame feminism for this.
They're the ones who advocated for it.
We're not forcing women to go to college. We're giving them the option of going to college. And
it doesn't matter what you call it.
People can go to college who can, what if a woman could just afford to go to college and she wants to go?
Until you can tell me the distinct criterion difference between the crushing debt of indentured servitude and the crushing debt of college loans, which are often targeted at minorities and people have very little in the way of means to pay these loans back, and they give them to them based on useless degrees, often, right?
I'm not arguing
I don't understand how you could say that. Not only you would have to admit that not only is that's a bad thing, but how's that not a form of economic slavery?
Andrew, I'm not arguing any of these points. I'm arguing that this isn't the responsibility of feminism. Feminism created an option, but the concept of college debt was not made by feminism.
Who pushed for it?
Who pushed for college debt?
Who pushed for women to go to college and have it financed by the government?
No. Who pushed for who created college debt? Was it feminist? No.
Yes, feminists pushed for women to go to college and take out student loans.
Do you not understand the question?
This is the third wave feminist, by the way.
Do you understand the question?
Hold on, one at a time.
Do you want me to reiterate the question?
God, go ahead.
Who created college debt?
Created it?
Yes.
Financial institutions who work alongside the government.
Financial institutions are the slavers, not feminists.
No, because it's feminists who... What's the prompt? That feminism did more to enslave women than to free them, right? Or to keep them, or give them more rights, or give them more freedoms in society. That's what we're talking about.
But you can't
and here's the
blame
truth.
Feminists,
I can and I am.
No, you
feminists
can't.
did.
Well, it's stupid.
Well, let me make the argument and then respond to it.
Sure.
Feminists did absolutely push for women in higher education. They pushed to have it financed by the state. And they, by the way, modern feminists still push it. Modern feminists right this second are still pushing that women go to college and take on college debt, if necessary, to get a degree. That's what they push more than anything, in fact.
What we were pushing is the right to go to college. The right. Do you understand that? Before feminism, women were not allowed to pursue a degree in higher education.
You're pushing for the right to indentured servitude.
We're not, okay, but we didn't create, feminism didn't create the quote-unquote indentured servitude.
They did.
No, we didn't.
You did.
Who created college debt,
if there
Andrew?
wasn't this massive,
this is the most circular-ass
if there
argument
wasn't
I've ever heard.
Incentive, right, for these companies to create these diploma mills, and the only reason they're creating these diploma mills is because the student loan programs, which are coming out of the federal government.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's going on. I'm sure you have student loans, and it sucks. I'm sorry. That sucks. It does suck.
You know,
and
Andrew,
I'm sorry.
The saddest part is I agree with
and
you
I'm
on
sorry
most
that you're
of
being
this.
crushed under that weight, but I'm telling you right now that was not done by the malicious patriarchy. This is feminists, and feminists even currently, who really pushed hard that all women need to go to college. They all need to go. They all need to go. And all these student loans and the crushing debt now, and women are responsible for so much of that debt, I would argue that that is way worse, that these women now have to go work these menial fucking jobs and shit like this to pay back their student loans to the fucking federal government. It's so bad now that now you have a new wave of feminists trying to come out and just ask for free everything. They're like, oh, just please, student debt forgiveness. They crushed.
May I
Go ahead.
I mean, Andrew, I completely agree with you. I mean, I'm literally having this conversation with you right now to pay off my student debt. But my issue is that I don't think, like, all of these problems are real, but I don't think the blame and the onus is on feminists. I think the blame and the onus is on a capitalist system that is designed to fuck all of us. It's not even just women. It's men, too. Like, men also.
Loans from the federal government isn't capitalism.
I mean, men are also. Oh.
No.
So you don't think
loans are supposed to come from private equity firms?
College fund.
I don't think that private equity firms.
You don't think that these
private
diploma mills
listen,
are based on capitalism?
The private equity firms, right, would not be financing people who are going to school for fucking basket weaving, okay? Because their chance of getting paid back would be way less. It's because these loans are backed by the federal government that they're even possible, because equity firms would laugh at them. So the thing is like, look, as we look at this from the bird's eye view, right? You and I agree that that system is fucked, okay?
Yes, I do.
And yes, absolutely, feminists push for that system in a big way. And my argument essentially is simple. It's just saying, and you know what? You could even caveat it. You could be like, you know what? Feminists did a lot of great things. This one wasn't it. And as long as you're willing to make the concession, like, look, that sort of financial slavery is way worse than what they had pre-19th Amendment, because it is, then I think we have an accord and we can move to the next prompt.
Can I do a closing statement?
Yeah.
And if you feel like we're done, then I'm good to be done with this one. I think the main point that I will make is that feminism was not about forcing women to go to college, but before feminism, women physically could not go to college. It was about creating equal opportunity. Because although colleges are fucked with the way that they absolutely steal from students by proliferating college debt,
do you consider that a form of financial slavery?
Yes, but some degrees are actually worthwhile.
Look.
And women should have the right to pursue those degrees as well.
I just want to point out that
it's the inequality that feminists are fighting against. But in no universe are we trying to force every single woman to go to college, even if they don't want to and it doesn't make financial sense for them. No one is advocating for that. I am an avowed feminist, and I would never say that to another woman.
So anyway, these were the same arguments that were being used for the pushing of indentured slavery, since indentured servitude. Same exact thing. Nobody's forcing you to do it. We're just making sure that people have the ability to do it because they don't have enough money to get here. Hang on.
Yeah.
I didn't interrupt your closing.
That's fair.
Okay. The indentured servants, they want to come here. They just can't afford it. Okay, so we can charge them whatever they want. And doesn't that really just make their life better because we're giving them the option to do it? These are the same exact arguments that were made for that. Same exact thing. And so the thing is like, look, fine. That's great that you want this option, right? But that doesn't change the fact that feminism created the conditionals for this. Not the patriarchy and not coverture laws. Feminism, created the conditionals for this. And since they did and they advocated for it, they pushed everyone into it, they made a bunch of economic slaves out of otherwise viable women in their fertile years who could have gotten married.
I mean, can I just respond to that? The thing, though, is that it wasn't that women weren't allowed to be indentured servants and then only men could be indentured servants and then feminists pushed for women to be indentured servants. The issue is that men could go to college, but women couldn't. We didn't have the option. We were fighting for the option.
Most men only got the option to start going to college en masse, right? Only slightly before women did. That's one. And two, let me just point this out, that if college was really about rewarding the best and the brightest, not everybody could go. And the entirety of the push for this should always have been for that anyway. And what happened is feminists made a bunch of economic slaves out of women that they really didn't need to make out of women. And they still, by the way, on every mainstream network, this is what you'll see female feminists in modernity saying. Go to college, go to school, because a lot of them are paid fucking shills, in fact. Okay? So yeah, feminism did bring the conditionals for this. They did make economic slaves. And here's the thing, as long as you agree, and here's maybe the olive branch that we can get. Fine, you don't want to call it slavery, economic slavery, Don't call it economic slavery. I think that in any other conditional, though, as an avowed socialist like you would use that exact language, economic slavery. You just don't want to blame it on feminism. You want to blame it on capitalism.
No,
but it's like, even if I say
I agree with you that the system is
but even
fucked,
if I
but
make,
I don't believe
can
that
we have an olive
feminists
branch?
are the ones who
Can we have an olive
perpetuated
branch
this
then
system.
that forms of bad capitalism mixed with bad feminist ideology created the conditionals for this? Maybe that's the olive branch.
I think it's forms of bad capitalism that created the conditionals for this that everyone experiences. And I also feel like you're kind of downplaying what men have to deal with as well. I mean, men are in this same freaking boat. No?
Well, not really. Men are moving towards the trades. They understand that there's a massive scammery going on with college. They're moving into trades, and they don't have to spend as much. In fact, they get paid.
College
Most of the time when you're training, training for a trade, you get paid a high amount of money. Most trade schools that you go to, maybe you go for 6-8 weeks and then you're assigned as an apprentice, or sometimes you just start as an apprentice and you work for 4 years and you're getting paid the entire time.
Yeah.
That seems like the opposite of economic slavery. This seems like it is, and I think that feminists created the conditionals, and I'll leave it there.
But feminists also gave women access to go to trade school as well. Like all forms of higher education, feminists fought for the right to women to attend to. And then we can choose among those.
It was higher education. Women weren't fighting to get into trade schools.
You don't think trade school's a form of higher education? Hey, man, don't
They
knock
weren't
trade school.
fighting to go weld. Okay?
It's the equality of opportunity.
They weren't fighting to go weld.
Do you understand what the equality of opportunity is?
Oh, give me a break.
It's
That
the
wasn't what it was about.
opportunity.
It was about a bunch of industrialists hornswoggling you into becoming second-class citizens because you became economic cogs.
Okay, I'll just close this out. I think we can agree that the college education system needs some severe reformation. And I think that we can agree that it's fucking a lot of Americans, both men and women. Where I disagree is that I don't think that feminism is the cause of this, I guess, universal fuckage. Instead, it literally created the ability for women to choose this. And it's not forcing it on women. If they are going to go into too much debt and it's not economically feasible to go to college, as a feminist, I'm telling you right now, don't do it. If it's not worth it, then don't.
Yeah, that's great, but that's like counterintuitive to what your whole movement said for the last, 60 years.
I don't think you understand my movement, Andrew.
I think I'm the only one at the table who does.
I would disagree.
We have 3 prompt options. Problems with democracy, women just as violent as men, if not more, and force doctrine, the descriptor for Earth.
Yeah, do you want to do force doctrine? Because we never got to that.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We didn't. Honestly, I kind of wanted to do problems with democracy.
Yeah, we
I
can
thought
do that
one
too.
was-
Problems with democracy, define.
Yeah, you want to start with problems with democracy and then move on to, what was the other one? I like women are more violent too. Do you have a preference?
Let's do problems with democracy.
Okay,
And then
cool.
force doctrine, and then time permitting.
Well, I don't think we're going to have time after this one.
Force
but we'll
doctrine is
see.
going to be really long, is what I'm saying, is what I'm thinking.
Well, then let's do force doctrine so we can get out of the way.
Let's do force doctrine then.
Let's do force
Alrighty.
doctrine.
So Andrew, it's your claim if you want to.
Yeah, so force doctrine is a descriptor which just describes that women gain their rights from men. That's the descriptor.
Okay, so why do women gain their right? Do you want to define force doctrine and why
I just
you
did.
believe this is? No, you didn't.
What am I leaving out of my own definition?
Well, why do women, because?
Why do they have
There's
to
no
appeal to them?
justification. Yes, women gain their rights
Because
from
men have a monopoly
because-
on force. And since they have a monopoly on force, women always have to appeal to them. Example, if women right this second who were in some Middle Eastern nation, right, wanted their rights from the men and the men did not want to give them any rights, can you demonstrate for me a single shred of recourse that they could have except appealing to other men or the men that are not giving them rights?
I mean, well, they could invent a bomb that would just destroy everyone.
Can you give me a single historic example of women ever successfully using physical force to overthrow when they're considered second-class citizens by the men?
No, but I honestly believe physical force is immoral. I guess my issue with force doctrine is so what? What is your point? Sure, that's your definition, but
Well,
why is this?
My point
important?
is that it's very clear again that men are very benevolent, because
That's it?
Because
So you just want a pat on the back?
No, I would like to see gratitude in the world for men, because it is indeed the case that they have the monopoly on force, and at any time, according to their own preferences, could just enslave all women. And it's really funny because it's like.
So wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. Pause,
Imagine
pause.
saying
You think that women should thank you for deciding not to enslave us?
I mean, the idea here is simple. The idea is that if it is the case that you have people who are drastically weaker, one people group than another people group, okay? And they can do anything they want to you whenever they want. And half the world demonstrates that that's the case. At least in this half of the world, we don't do that. And because we don't do that, women take for granted that the men here are so benevolent that they could take what they wanted, and they don't. And it's like, yeah, it's not just about a pat on the back. It's about actually thanking them for every breath of every day, because ultimately they could do this, and you can't refute that they can.
Well, do you believe that there is a moral obligation? Like, what's your...
I don't believe that you can justify moral obligation.
Well, then I want to
against
ask
it.
you, do you think that there is a moral justification?
No, it's not an ought claim.
Well, no, well, it should be. I would like to...
It should be an ought claim?
I would like to hear your prescriptive...
It's not a prescriptive claim. It's a descriptive claim.
I know, and I want it to be prescriptive. I just want to hear, what is your moral justification for why you believe that doing the bare minimum is somehow some great thing? Like, what's your moral justification?
You mean gratitude?
No, not your moral justification for gratitude. I guess what I'm saying is, so under your analysis, every man at any point could just overpower a woman and force his will on her, right? And they choose not to do it.
They choose not to do it.
So what if they did choose to do it?
Yeah.
Do you have a moral justification for why that would be okay?
I do, but I believe that only my view gives a moral justification, and I believe that your view does not.
Well,
so
I'll
give you mine. Okay, so my moral justification is that I make an appeal, and I ground my epistemology and ontology in Jesus Christ. And I think that you can't get to knowledge philosophically without having grounding. So the thing is like, that's how I would ground my morals for you ought not do that. However, the problem that you have is that secular states are rising up everywhere. And the appeal to Jesus Christ is not rising up. And so if it's the case that secularism cannot make an appeal for why men ought not do this outside of preference, then aren't you just laid bare by men's preference? Like whenever they decide that they prefer to do this, right? What moral thing can you appeal to other than your own preferences that they don't?
Wait, so you exclusively believe that something is moral or immoral based on whether or not God told you it was moral?
Based on Christian ethics, divine command, and church history, apostolic succession, the grounding of understanding the transcendentals, which are required to be grounded in God for them to even exist.
Okay, but the wisdom of God has to be translated through man.
So what?
So then your morality isn't based on God, it's based on somebody else's interpretation of God's will.
So then if all it does is get us back to preferences, right? I'm fine with that too.
So you're back to this preference-based sense of morality.
So if that's the case...
Which was justifying slavery. Okay, so can I just...
Yes, your morality justifies slavery. I agree. Yes.
No, but Andrew, you're the one who believes in preference-based morality. You have
So do
that.
you.
Oh, no, I don't.
Then give me the grounding where it's not preference-based.
I believe that morality is objective.
You don't?
Yes, I do.
Then
I've said it multiple times.
Objective means exist absent minds.
Yes. I do believe that morality
So where does it exist absent minds?
Well, it's not a physical concept.
Then if all human beings died tomorrow, is there things that are still moral or immoral?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Well, there's other life on Earth, Andrew.
So if a lion eats a fucking rabbit, is it moral?
Well, no. I mean, yes, sorry.
It is?
It's a form of sustenance. I mean, we eat chicken every time.
Wait a second. So
you don't believe that there
hang on. So if it's the case, hang on. I'm making sure I got this right. If it's the case that all human beings on planet Earth are dead, there's no more minds. There is still there is still morality.
But there are still minds.
I
there's
know.
Monkeys
I know.
And tigers and lions.
No.
There are still minds.
Oh, okay. So how does morality exist then? Is it monkey morality?
I mean, yeah, kind of.
So is there objective human morality?
I think that there is objective human morality.
Okay, so how does it exist absent mind? You got to get her to answer, dude. She's just going to pivot.
Because there's other animals on Earth.
You got to answer this question. Listen, you have to answer this. All human minds are gone. All of them. Okay. Everyone. There was a plague and every human died, right? What would then make a thing objectively moral or immoral? Meaning, there's no more minds, and it exists somewhere as being moral or immoral, absent an interpreter.
Yeah, I mean, the concept of objective morality would still exist.
How? There's no minds.
No one there to see
Then
it.
who could come up with the concept?
It already exists.
How could it exist without you coming up with it?
Because we're already already alive. We're here right now. So just because we died tomorrow doesn't mean what happened hasn't already happened.
If you're all dead, if
Sure.
everyone's dead, how can concepts exist?
Okay, Andrew, I'll humor you. If humans never existed, then human morality would not exist either.
No, so if humans no longer exist, then human morality also no longer exists.
Well, it was already invented. It already exists. So yes, we would be gone, like we wouldn't be there to record it, but it still exists. It's a concept.
Where does it exist?
A concept is immortal.
No, concepts are not immortal.
Well, people wrote them down, so it's there.
Who's there to read them?
Nobody. So it doesn't.
So then how did they exist?
It doesn't matter, but it still exists.
No, it doesn't.
Something can exist
Where?
without mattering.
Where could it possibly exist?
In a book. Have you seen one?
A book that nobody can read?
Yes. So
because
it doesn't
nobody's
matter,
there?
But it still exists.
How does a concept...
Andrew, there's a difference between existence and whether or not and importance.
I would agree a book would exist and a book would
Yes.
have words on it.
So if somebody wrote down
Yeah.
all of the objective moral principles
Yeah.
that we have learned through humanity
Yeah.
and basic human instinct
Yeah.
and human experience,
Yeah.
it would still exist.
No, just a book would exist, not the concept.
The concept is in the book. There's words in books. That's why we read them.
Doesn't a book require a mind to interpret it?
Sure, so it wouldn't matter, but it still exists.
Only the book exists.
Yes, and the book has the concept in it. Oh my God. There is a recorded version of this concept. So it continues to exist, but there is no one there to observe it.
So
Do
then
you
how
not get that?
Nope, not at all. How does a concept exist if somebody's not around to observe
If
it?
a tree falls, it exists because it was created and documented, right? And now humans no longer exist, but the concept is still there. Just like the Diary of Anne Frank still exists, even though she doesn't, right? The concepts that she wrote in that book are still there, even though she isn't. That's why we fucking write things down.
Do books require interpreters?
Yes, so it wouldn't matter at that point, but it still exists.
So, hang on. A book exists.
Yes.
A concept does not exist because it requires a mind and an interpreter.
The concept does exist.
No.
It just doesn't matter.
No.
Yes.
No. No,
Human
listen.
morality would still exist, but if there's no humans, then it doesn't matter.
Help me out here. Let us pretend for a moment that you came across a book full of alien writings
Yes.
that had all of their morals in it,
Sure.
and you couldn't read the book.
Okay.
And all these aliens were dead.
Okay.
How could the concept now exist?
Well, the concept is still there and it still exists, but the humans don't. Or the aliens don't. Andrew, do you not understand when something can be objective without being physical? Like, something can exist if it didn't have a physical form. Dude, we gotta put you in like a biology class or something. How do you not get this? Like, why are we going around in circles about this? It's kind of a basic concept.
Yeah, and I'm basically trying to figure this out.
And you're basically struggling hard.
That's true. I am totally struggling with this.
You don't think that something can exist even after... It doesn't matter. It's not important anymore because humans aren't there. But it still happened and it still exists.
So do you think that if I write a concept down on a piece of paper, like do not kill all men named Chuck.
Okay.
All men named Chuck, right? And I die.
Okay.
Okay? And there's nobody around. Is it now objectively true that it is immoral to not kill Chuck?
Well, you don't get to decide objective morality as an individual.
Then who does?
It's a collective.
So the collective gets to decide.
Yes. So you think that it should be Sky Daddy, and I think it should be based on the will.
The collective will.
It's object morality on the basis of the experiences of the collective.
Okay, so if
I do think that there is an objective good and bad.
So if I write,
I don't believe
so
that
if
the
I write
collective
now,
will
if I write
is
now,
what determines that morality.
the whole of the law shall be, you do not kill Chuck, and the majority of people agree with me before I die, and we all die. Is that now what's objectively moral?
What the fuck are you talking about? Go
If
back.
most people agree with my only commandment of do not kill Chuck, and almost everybody agrees with me, and we all die, but I have left behind this little pamphlet that says do not kill Chuck, and it's now written down. Is that objectively moral now?
Well, it doesn't matter because we're all dead. So sure, maybe it is, but it doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. It can still exist, but it doesn't matter. This is literally the point.
So
It exists.
is that objectively moral or not?
What the fuck? We're not talking about whether or not that is objectively moral. We're talking about whether or not something can exist after the human race dies.
No, we weren't.
Yeah, that was what you were not
We're
understanding.
only discussing objective versus subjective morality. The idea here is very simple, right? You keep on claiming that I believe that morality is based on preferences, but I keep demonstrating over and over again, so do you. And I don't know why you won't concede the point. You look ridiculous.
I don't look ridiculous. I'm not the one who just justified slavery based on your own
you don't
version
understand
of
how
prescriptive
bad this is
morality.
going to be. I'm telling you, you don't even understand how bad this is.
Well, I'm sure your fan will really appreciate it.
No,
Now,
it's not my
Andrew, Can we go
Oh my
back
God,
to...
we can't because
No,
we
you just
can't.
don't want to have to defend the morality of force doctrine. That's what this is about.
How could
You don't want to defend the morality of using coercive power.
Is force doctrine objectively not moral?
I think that using coercive power against the consent of those you are using that power on is immoral.
Prove it.
It's immoral because it's causing human suffering.
And what grounds human suffering as being what is immoral?
I believe that natural law dictates human suffering is objectively bad. And so does your God.
So I just
we
wanna
both
make-
agree on
so I
that
just-
in my secular framework and in your religious framework.
Well, hang on. Wait, you believe in a God?
No, I said in my secular framework and your religious
I see. So
framework. Yes.
what grounds natural rights as being objectively true?
I believe natural rights are grounded as being objectively true based on human experience.
So if humans have the experience they're not true, are they still true?
What?
If a human being has an experience that tells them natural rights are not true, are they still true?
Well, that's a singular human. This is collective human experience.
So
I'm not a collectivist, just to clarify.
Okay, so collectively, if collectively human beings experiences that natural rights are not true or natural law is not true, then natural law is not true?
If collectively humans experience that natural laws are not true. Well, certain natural laws are just like killing is
No,
bad.
answer
Do you
my
think
question.
that-
If collectively human beings don't, through their own experience, do not believe natural laws are true, are they still true?
Well, let's pick a natural law. Suffering causes harm. Or harm causes suffering.
No,
Sorry,
not
reverse.
always. Sometimes.
Harm causes, okay. Physical harm
No,
causes
it's only
suffering.
sometimes.
Non-consensual physical harm causes suffering.
Only
Even if
sometimes.
every human agreed that non-consensual physical harm causes suffering,
Yeah.
if somebody stabbed Brian in the neck and he suffered
Yeah.
because he was physically harmed,
Yeah.
it's still true. Sorry,
It's
Brian.
true that he got stabbed in the neck,
It's
but
still causing
you haven't
physical
demonstrated
harm.
how it's true that that's immoral.
Because it's objectively true.
No, him getting stabbed in the
well,
neck is true, but
I'm
how
not
is it
talking about
immoral?
morality. I'm talking about natural laws being objective, even
Isn't
if
natural law the
collectively we
basis?
disagree with them.
So is natural law a descriptor of like things that happen?
Some of them, somewhat. I mean, suffering causing harm is not just a descriptor of things that happen.
Let's start with this. What is natural law? Let's just make sure I get it right.
Natural law is the collective belief that humans can define that there are objective truths about morality, about good and bad, based on human experience.
So it's collective belief.
It's not collective belief.
You just said natural law is the collective belief.
Okay, well, it's some people's belief that things can be that actions can be objectively
So what is
good or
natural
bad.
law? What is it?
It's the objective belief that some things are objectively good or bad.
What?
Oh my God, Andrew, you just really don't want to have to defend.
This is what
morality
I
of
am
force
defending it right
doctrine. You're
now.
not defending the morality of force doctrine because you have not made an opinion on whether or not force doctrine is moral or immoral.
I did.
No.
I literally told you
So do you
what
think that
my
force
morality is.
So you believe that force doctrine is moral?
Sometimes.
In which instances?
Well, I would say if you're utilizing force doctrine, in the reasonable response to how the Lord would ask you to operate, then it would be fine.
In what instances would the Lord justify harm?
You mean harm? Well, all sorts of different
Yes,
instances.
give me an
Self-defense,
example.
for instance.
Okay.
Warfare, for instance.
What warfare
There could be
is justified?
possibilities where you need. Well, you could.
What warfare has been justified by God?
Tons of warfare has been justified by God.
Which ones?
You mean in the Old Testament?
No, I'm talking about currently what human warfare. I mean, God deciding to smite someone is
Do
not
you
warfare.
think that?
What human warfare has been justified by God?
I don't know what that means. Justified by God.
When did we, as a species, go to war and God was like, "That is good"?
Oh, I mean, there was tons of times in the Old Testament where God where God ordered them. Sure, I'll pull up the scripture. Do you want the scriptures where
Sure,
God ordered
yes.
people to go to war? Here you go. I mean, that's fucking crazy that you don't know this, but here you go. All right.
Man, this is your religion, Andrew. You shouldn't have to Google it.
Well, I just want to be precise.
That's fair.
Okay. Old Testament, God commands war. I mean, he wiped out the Nephilim. I mean, he did all kinds of things. So, yeah, key examples include the conquest of Canaan, where God commands the destruction of the Canaanites. I mean, that's one example right off the top of it. But he's actually many times created justifications for war.
So I guess
yes.
I want to understand your morality a little bit, because you have to familiarize me, because I'm not myself a Christian. So because God justified that instance of war, do you believe that God is justifying all instances of war?
No.
Okay, so according to God, when is war justified and when is war not unjustified?
Well, that's a loaded question, but I'll try to answer it as best I can. Concepts of war are generally justified through the ideas of self-defense. The rigors of what would happen inside of collective warfare would necessarily have to follow Christian ethics. So you couldn't do things like essay women. You couldn't do any of those things. They would be restricted by the New Testament Gospels.
Okay, so would you say that it's fair to assert that God generally, because I know that do not kill is a commandment.
Do not murder.
Well, killing and murdering are equivalent, but
no, they're not the equivalent.
To an extent, but
not to an extent.
For the context of this debate. Oh, so now you're a lawyer. Okay, so we know that God says.
This is basic philosophy.
Hold on. I actually want to look that up.
Yeah, killing and murder are two different things.
I agree that killing and murdering
one is justified, one is not justified.
No, I agree that killing and murdering are different things, but I didn't know that God justified those. Oh, yeah, so it's thou shalt not kill. Okay.
It's thou shalt not murder.
I mean, the actual quote in the Bible is thou shalt not
Not in the
kill.
Septuagint, which is the origination of the Bible that we're reading, is thou shalt not murder.
So you're not using the King James edition of the Bible?
The NKJV.
So you just wrote your own Bible?
NKJV, we use the Septuagint. Where did the King James Bible come from? Do you even know?
No.
Then what are you talking about? I have no idea about the historic standard. It is thou shalt not murder.
So you just got the quote wrong, though.
What? It's literally ask Google while I'm sitting here. Is it thou shalt not kill or thou shalt not murder? Ask it.
In older translations, it is phrased as thou shalt not king, and in newer ones, it's thou shalt not
murder. So I was right again.
I mean, we were kind of both
No,
right.
you were just wrong.
It's thou shalt not kill in some
You've been wrong this whole
versions,
debate.
And it's thou shalt not kill it, murder in others.
No, in the original,
Yes,
the
in
translation.
the original, it was thou shalt not kill.
Yes.
And then they changed
No,
it to
it's
thou shalt not
murder.
murder.
It's murder.
But it's both. It was both. Like, anyway. So, God so you cannot murder.
Yeah.
According to God. But the only justification for murdering or killing, either one, is self-defense, according to your God.
Well, it depends on what we're considering self-defense to be. There can be other instances where there could be justifiable killings that fall outside of self-defense.
Like what?
Well, like, I don't consider it murder if I'm working on top of, like, a fucking bridge and I accidentally kick a wrench off and it falls down and it hits somebody in the head and they die.
Well, I think that's negligence. I
don't consider that, but it's killing someone. But I don't consider those categorically the same because I think murder requires intent.
You don't, or God doesn't.
Same. It'd be the idea of intentionality.
Okay, so under your religious framework, intentional murder.
Yeah.
Okay, intentional murder is bad, right? Can't do that, or you're going to go to hell.
Yeah.
So then under your religious framework, forced doctrine is immoral.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
I mean, it is.
Can you explain how?
But why do you deserve a cookie from women for not choosing to murder us?
Now you're just changing the goalposts. You just said under my religious framework, forced doctrine's immoral. Now fucking demonstrate it and stop playing games.
Excuse me?
Like, literally demonstrate it.
Oh my God.
Demonstrate it.
I love it when you get mad.
Demonstrate it.
I mean, under your definition of what is moral and immoral, based on your God, which I don't necessarily disagree with, but under that definition, it would be immoral to suddenly impose your will using coercive power on a woman and kill her or murder her.
Wait a second.
Either one.
I'm sorry. How does this in any way dispute forced doctrine?
It disputes the morality of you thinking you deserve a pat on the back for choosing not to murder women every day.
Wait a second. I'm sorry. Let me
I mean, you started this. Hold on. Let's go back. Because you started this debate by saying that women.
I just can't even believe this.
No, I mean, Andrew, I just feel like you're just struggling to understand your own
you're right.
ideas.
I am struggling to understand.
You started this debate by saying that women should thank you. We should thank you so much.
They should, yeah.
For choosing every day not to violently harm us and murder us and kill us.
That's right.
But your God tells you not to.
Yeah.
So why should we thank you for following the basic rules of morality set by your God?
So then I think
you haven't done me a favor.
So then in this case,
you've just gotten yourself into heaven.
So isn't the logical extension of this that you should thank my God?
That's not you, though. Like, why do you deserve credit for that?
Then say thank you to my God.
I'm not saying thank you to your God.
Well, then what are you even talking about?
But you started this debate by saying I should say thank you to men, to you. Why?
No, I actually started this debate explaining
you were actively just proven wrong because you wanted me.
Not only
to
was I
thank
not proven
men,
wrong, but
instead I should be thanking you.
You got to stop filibustering.
You just conceded.
Are you going to let her filibuster the whole time?
It was a concession.
You got let him speak.
Okay,
please.
well,
You
after your concession, let's hear your.
All you do is
how you're
filibuster. So look, we're going to make this super easy. Actually, at the start of the debate, you're wrong. I said only through my view can rights be justified for anybody, including women. Only through my view of God can rights be justified. And what did you end up doing here? Proving that the only justification we've ever come up with for why any of this would be wrong, right, or otherwise is my God.
No,
you
Andrew,
have
that is not the
presented.
only
You
reason.
have presented nothing.
I'm using your ethical
stop
framework.
filibustering.
Okay, sure.
Fuck! Stop filibustering. It's all you do is filibuster.
Just let him finish, though.
Well, I mean, at some point, you have to let the other person speak. So the thing is like, look, not only have we demonstrated that it's only through my God, and I guess you should thank him by your own logic, but you've never created a single standard yet for how your morality is anything other than preference. In your internal critique just now, all it did was ratify what I said at the beginning of the debate, which is that I don't think rights can be grounded through anything but God. And guess what you established? Well, guess what, Andrew? Rights can't be established by anything but your God. You're right. They can't. I agree. And on top of that, let me just point this out. The entire first part of the debate on the preferential end, all you did was describe how morality is preferential over and over and over again.
I didn't.
So if it's the case, only through Christian ethics can this be grounded, right? And in your worldview, now, through your worldview, can you explain how forced doctrine is wrong outside of preference or not?
No, Andrew. By the way, what I was just doing is proving through your own ethical framework why you don't deserve shit. You don't deserve a thank you for women from following the teachings of your own ethical framework brought to you by your God.
So then,
whether or not I agree with whether or not I agree with the framework, you have created an ethical framework that puts the moral onus on your God. So you acting morally is not some gift to me and to womankind, but it is what you were told to do by your God. So why would I thank men? Why should women thank men? That's what you wanted. You wanted a thank you from women for not killing us, for doing the absolute bare minimum, which your own ethical framework acknowledged is the absolute bare fucking minimum.
But you're just making my point. And by the way, let me just point this out.
Me to thank God for making men do the
Let's just point this out.
Let them answer.
Are all men Christians?
No.
Then should we thank them?
Well, yes, they're following their own secular ethical framework that is teaching them not to just maim other women.
So you should say,
and by
you
the
should
way,
thank men.
Christian
So you should thank men.
Well, I mean, not you.
But you should thank. I didn't say me. I said men. So you should thank men.
I guess I should thank natural law. Thank you, natural law. I agree.
How does what?
Because it's objectively immoral. Because it's objectively immoral to kill people.
Oh, it's
Andrew.
objectively immoral. I just can't demonstrate it.
Do you not think that killing is objectively immoral?
Only from my view, but not from yours.
No, from everyone's view.
No, not from
From literally.
It's not literally
view.
from everyone's view.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of, no.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, fine. From Muslims' view, from a Muslim's view, is it objectively immoral to take away rights from women?
I mean, I'm not Muslim.
Oh my God. From a Muslim's view, is it objectively immoral to take away rights from women?
But I haven't studied the Quran, so why should I be the one answering on behalf of Muslims?
Is there anybody does North Korea take away rights from women?
North Korea takes away rights from everybody. Didn't you say you wanted to move
And
there?
women?
Well, everyone. It's an equal opportunity
And women?
oppressor. Sure, yes.
And women. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So the case is like, if South Korean men go in there and put a stop to that shit, should the South Korean women at least thank them?
The South Korean,
Or the North Korean women? The North Korean women. Should they at least thank them?
the North Korean people? I mean, North Korea is not a
Are human beings, are the women, they're not people?
But
Shouldn't
North
they
Korea
thank them?
is not a state that is oppressing based on gender.
So
It's
should they
oppressing
thank them or
everyone.
not?
If South Korea decided to come in to North Korea,
Yeah.
wage war to liberate the North Korean people, and they wanted this, then yeah, the entirety of North Korea should probably thank South Korea for being liberated.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So the only qualm that you have here is that you shouldn't thank Christians because we follow our ethics, but you should thank secularists because they have no ethics and just don't do it anyway.
But the difference is the doing versus not doing. Like, Andrew, in North Korea, the South Koreans would have to actually go to war, fight, and potentially die for the freedom of another person. But here, all you have to do is just not murder women. Like, how hard is that to just not murder women?
But that's not an argument.
Yes, it is. Why should I thank you for doing nothing?
Thank men.
Why should I thank men
Because
for
at any
doing
time they
nothing?
want, they can collectively enslave all women, and they don't.
But at any time we want, we could collectively do all kind of horrible things. Like, why do you think you should deserve a treat for doing the bare fucking minimum
Well,
as a society?
here's the thing that's
I mean,
funny is,
anyone
like-
could abuse their child. Do you think that children every day should wake up and thank their parents? Thank you for not abusing and killing
Yeah,
me, parent.
I think that they should be grateful to their parents, yeah.
I mean, everyone should be grateful to a good parent, but you really think that we, like, as a society, haven't advanced
You're like a
past the point where
contradiction
you
machine.
need
Hold
to-
on, let each other
You're like a
finish, please.
Do you
contradiction machine.
I mean, you should thank
Hold
your
on,
parents if they're
Andrew,
nice
just let her
parents,
finish.
but
Yeah, you should
not
thank your parents, yeah.
You
Hold
should
on,
thank,
let each other finish,
Andrew,
please.
you should thank your parents because they're nice parents, but not because every day they choose not to abuse you. Again, these are the bare minimums.
You know, it's funny.
Like, it's just not doing something.
It's funny to me because, like, there's such a lack of cogency here. You say that you should thank secular men, right? And you should thank them because they're following natural law.
I don't think you should thank secular men.
You literally just got done saying you think we should
I said we
thank
should thank
secular
natural
men.
law.
Let each other
Okay.
finish. Let each other finish.
Which is your form of morality?
Yeah, to an extent.
Then why should we thank your form of morality for doing the bare minimum? You're just following your own morals.
What?
Yeah, why would you thank men who are just following natural law?
I
right?
wouldn't
You
thank
wouldn't?
them. Just
Hold on,
said I
let him
wouldn't.
finish.
Hang on, you wouldn't?
Let Andrew finish.
No, I wouldn't.
Then
thank
why did you
men.
say before you would? You would.
I would not thank men. I literally thanked natural law like 30 seconds ago, Andrew. You're just not paying attention.
So then shouldn't you thank my God then?
For creating a moral system in which you decide
If we should thank natural law?
Let her
to
finish.
murder
If we
people.
should thank natural law, shouldn't you thank my God? in
Well,
this-
I should, but I'm just not going to.
Oh, okay. So you're just a contradiction machine. Got it.
No, I'm not a contradiction machine. I just don't agree that,
That was
you
a
just
huge concession.
Andrew, it's not a concession.
Yeah, it
you
was.
believe that you deserve a pat on the fucking back for doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying I don't believe you do. If anyone does, it's God or natural law
Yeah.
or the concept of morality.
I know.
Whatever it is that prevents you from doing horrible things to other people.
I know. So-
but you
I
don't
know.
deserve
I
a
get it.
cookie
I
for
get it.
sitting on your
Yeah, I
couch.
understand.
Like, why do you think that? Every day we could all go out and choose to commit an act of violence, and we don't. You're not special for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
You're
I got
not.
it. I get it.
Okay,
Now, can I
then
close?
why do you think you deserve a thank you?
Can I close now?
Sure.
Okay, great. So now that you're all done prattling, so you just made the concession. You literally just made multiple concessions there that you don't even know yet you made. The first one that you made is, well, I'm not going to thank your God, even though he's responsible for this, but you should thank natural law, the moral system that I utilize, which is incoherent. I've never explained, for why it is that secular men aren't. And it's like, that's the most hilarious contradiction I've heard this entire debate. And on top of that, it's like, look, yeah, do I think that women should probably be just a little bit grateful that it's considering that women are enslaved on half of planet Earth, or at least have way less rights to the point where you would consider them enslaved, to at least acknowledge that men could do this and are benevolent and don't and should be thankful for it? Yeah. But you know what? You don't have to. What you can do instead is you can be like, you know what? I'm a big, strong woman and all women are super strong and we're awesome. And so here's the thing. Fuck men. Okay, they don't get a cookie. That's the least that they should do. But none of that refutes force doctrine, and none of that shows how it is that men couldn't do this and why it is that you shouldn't actually be kind of thankful that they don't, or at least perceive them as being benevolent.